Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Talk podcast. So, talking about the sisterhood, I have did that before. I have talked about the sisterhood in one episode for sure, maybe two, but it is something that I might be talking about a lot because there are so many examples of how this so-called sisterhood, which actually sounds great at the first when you just hear it, right? You think sisterhood, oh, it must be a good thing. It must be this, nice group of women coming together and sharing ideas and supporting each other in the best way possible. But most of the time, the sisterhood is a meeting of women who are mostly lonely, miserable, always angry, who are attaching themselves to feminism, who always have something to complain about. And as you all know, misery needs company. So what women like to do, they would influence each other or manipulate each other to join into the misery that they are going through. Or, sometimes some of us have experienced this with being in high school, being in school in general, visiting university, or, being at an event or meeting new people. A lot of women can admit to it. I'm sure maybe they're not going to do it, but a lot of women know this, that let's assume there's a new girl or a new person coming into the group, and for whatever reason, someone dislikes them or doesn't agree with their point of view without no valid reason most of the time. Like, it might be something that's nonsensical, meaningless, but that one girl just doesn't like her, and she's going to influence everyone else, mostly other girls, to also not like her. This is the famous bullying that happens in the American teenage high school drama that everyone has watched. Some even have experienced themselves, or women would use their power of voice to talk down on someone that they don't like, that they don't agree with, just to ruin that person's reputation. And the most effective way of doing that is to draw other women into it, to believing their narrative, so that that person is going to be dragged down, and that person's reputation is going to be, damaged. So today I picked out a great example of the sisterhood, where a woman is expressing how she tapped into this, by listening to other girls, other women telling her, you should not like this person. You should not listen to this person. This person is evil. This person is bad. This person is shaming women, right? Because most of the time when we don't like to be held accountable, that's what we would do. Most of the time when someone is actually talking about things that we are doing wrong or things that we could do better, which is, I get it, it might be uncomfortable, right? Nobody wants to hear, oh, you done this wrong, or you could work on yourself here. Like, most of the time we just don't want to hear it. And I'm sure this goes for men and women in some way, shape or form, but it is necessary. But for women, it's very tough. We don't like the judgment. We don't want to be held accountable. We just don't want to face things that we don't like, right? It's like, let me do whatever I want. The moment, especially a man is calling us out on the things that we're doing wrong, we get very defensive. But to be honest, we also don't like it when other women are calling us out, right? We want to live in our bubble of, I can do what I want, I rule the world, and I'm a woman, so I can do it, right? This princess narrative, this you're untouchable, go girls, all that kind of stuff. And in this video, this woman is talking about Kevin Samuels, how she never took the chance to actually get her own idea of that person, to make her own opinion about that person, but literally just followed the sisterhood of so many other women telling her not to listen to him, not to even give it a chance. This man is evil. This man is bashing women. This man is bashing especially black women, which is not true, right? These women just don't like what he was saying, because what he was saying was true, and what he was saying would force them, if they admit to it and if they recognize it, would force them to have to change something about their lives, right? So I'm going to show you guys the clip and let's see what you think about it.
So this is how much influence a sister can have on another sister. Y'all told me not to like Kevin Samuels, and I didn't. Y'all told me that he didn't like black women, he didn't like fat women. I believed you, even though I had never watched one video. I didn't like him because you told me not to like him, and I didn't. So recently I go and I watch some of his videos. Now let me say I do not agree with everything that he says. However, your boy was on point on a few things. So if you've never watched any of his videos, go watch some of his videos. Because when I say I did not like this man, I did not like this man. And I hadn't watched not one video. And if I'm like that, I know it's quite a few other women out there who feels the same way. You have not watched one video, but you don't like that man. Go watch his video.
So if you think about it, now after you've seen the video, it's actually quite shocking to hear someone talking about how they just followed someone else's assumption or opinion without even taking a chance to look at it or listen to it and just think about it and make their own opinion about what that person is saying, right? And there are so many cases or different cases in life where I would agree to it when someone says, hey, I wouldn't advise you to go there, or this could be dangerous, or, I don't need to test putting my hands into fire, so I understand if it's dangerous or not. We have learned over the years that it's dangerous. Other people have done it. And if that's something that someone tells me, look, you don't have to put your hands into the fire to understand that it's dangerous, that would make perfectly sense, right? But even then, there's some people that want to do it to be sure and find out on their own. So there's some things that it is reasonable to listen to someone else's experience, or not just one person, but mostly even multiple people, do your own research and then say, okay, maybe I don't need to make the same mistake or, experience the same thing for me to understand if it's good or bad. I'm just going to take it with the facts given to me or the reviews given to me by other people. In some cases in life, that makes perfectly sense, right? But in so many other areas, it's actually good to make your own choice, or to give it a try, give that person a chance and hear for yourself and understand, what is that person actually talking about? Why are they having this point of view? And is there something that I can actually learn from, instead of just following a sisterhood that's telling you without explanation or without proof, actually, that someone is evil, someone is bad, someone is bashing women without you even giving it a chance. And it just shows how powerful women can be using their voices, not for the good, unfortunately, but in the wrong way. And there are studies that show this, that men tend to be violent, right? They know that if you talk too much in a certain way, if you're rude to someone, to another man, there is a chance that you might get hit, right? There's this understanding that, okay, this person might get so angry and retaliate and it might turn into a fist fight. While for us women, we do know most of the time, it's very unlikely that someone is just going to stand up and hit us because they don't agree to what we're saying. So we are going to use the power of words and the power of bashing someone and destroying someone's reputation. That's why you see a lot the way women fight is actually by using their words, by bullying you, right? If you look into companies and you talk about these types of topics, you will hear that by and large, the experiences that people are having amongst each other when it comes to being disrespectful and talking behind someone's back and stuff, it's always women pushing that. It's always women doing that, because that is what we can do. That is the power we have. We're not necessarily going to be in that position to put ourselves at risk and say, okay, let's go for a fist fight. So we're going to use this other way of destroying someone, if that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining it the right way, but this is something you can actually look up, and you would find facts to it that proves this is how women deal with situations like that. If they know they cannot fight you, they are going to ruin your reputation. They're going to talk behind your back. They're going to make sure they are going to group up with enough of other women to make you, how do I say, to kind of put you down, right? To make your point unvalid. The other thing I need to add is you might assume that, okay, this is something that can easily happen amongst children and teenagers, young girls when they're very impressionable and, very easy to get into something by, convincing them with words, and, they just don't think about it. But something like this has literally nothing to do with age, because you would see this happening amongst older women, right? You would see this happening to women in their 20s, in their 30s, even in their 40s. You would see them grouping up in the coffee shops, grouping up in the hair salons, and talking behind someone's back and creating a whole bunch of lies and narratives. And other women are going to buy into it, because in the moment, I think a lot of us actually enjoy it. It's fun, the gossiping. It's kind of fun sometimes. That's why we tend to fall into it so easy. And why is it fun? Don't get me wrong. It's just because there is no actual consequence, right? So it's so easy for women to draw other women into this, and for other women to fall into this. If you think about it and you look at situations where things like this happen, like, for example, now this Kevin Samuels situation where these women were convincing her not to listen to him and not to follow him because he's such a bad person and all that stuff. It's funny that women would always want to go against things that are actually meaningful and things that make perfectly sense and things that would actually be good for us, right? Like, keep away from this, don't behave like that. Make sure you take care of yourself, make sure you take care of your health and your weight, and how to talk to people, how to talk to your husband or your boyfriend, things like that. But it's funny how they would fight against that in the sense of, oh, these people are trying to control us and I'm a boss chick and I can do what I want. So they would fight against someone talking to them about things like that. But you would barely see women coming together and saying, look, we need to do something to stop this nonsense that's going on about empowering women in the name of empowerment, which I think it's not empowerment at all. But you don't see them grouping up and talking about how can we actually do something against this idea that young women believe, or women in general believe, that sexualizing yourself, selling your body on OnlyFans is such a good thing. It's the right thing to do. They're not going to talk about this. Instead, they're going to be online and shaming women who are choosing to be wives. And I'm going to show that clip very soon. It was heartbreaking. It's not the first time, but anytime I see something like that, to me, it's literally heartbreaking. And everyone can make their own choice if they want to be married or not. Actually, even if you wanted to, you need to get someone that wants to marry you. But you get what I'm saying. If you want to be in a relationship or not, you can choose. If you don't want to have anyone involved in your life, then be alone. It's a choice at the end of the day. But it's very painful to see how this feminist movement was allegedly all about choices. Women can choose to be in a career and in a job and do everything without depending on a man, as they like to say. But also, it should be beautiful for a woman to say, look, I want to have a husband, I want to have a family, I want to even be a stay-at-home wife, I want to commit my time, and the things that gives me fulfillment is doing things for my family and stuff like that. But if any time you see a woman talking like that or sharing something on her social media, for example, where she's doing something beautiful for her family, for her husband, or she even goes out of her way to prepare dinner, to make him a plate and clean up the place, women, I'm sorry, not just any people, women actually are going to go under the comment section and drag her down, right? They're going to make her look stupid. You're a slave. This is the new thing that they like to call women who are wives. They call them slaves. And if you think about it, this is just nonsensical how we're just using these words without thinking about how painful it is and the history behind it. This is a woman who's choosing to be a wife and you're calling her a slave. But reality is, they are so miserable that they cannot even comprehend that someone is happy doing this, that someone is happy putting their family first instead of their selfish needs. So I'm going to talk about this in a different episode, but just to give you an idea of what the sisterhood actually is and why I don't buy into it, because anytime you say something that they don't like or that would cause someone to maybe think about the choices that they've made, or something that you say that's actually challenging the way we've been living and the things we've been doing, and it's kind of in a sense of maybe we could do better, maybe we need to stop this, they are going to call you a bunch of names. Pick me. Oh, you think you're something better. Oh, you're just doing this for men's validation, da 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 da. But like, it's just crazy. However, guys, I really hope you enjoy. I would like to know what you think about the short clip of the lady, and I wish you a good day. Bye.